Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So I want to talk briefly today about the upcoming Republican National Convention that will be happening in July 15th through the 18th. I think we need to really keep a lot of eyes on that. A little bit of a history lesson here. In 1968, the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, had theirs in Chicago. And this was during a time when there was a lot of Vietnam War protesting going on. We had the Martin Luther King assassination. We had the RFK assassination. There were still a lot of racial tensions going on. And so at the DNC, they had a force of 24,000 people, and it was police, National Guard, and Army. And they actually had fixed bayonets. They were ready, right? And the media back then could not control what people saw across America, right? You didn't have people out there with their cell phones, okay? And the media wasn't as polarized as it is now. You know, media back then was media. Journalists, true journalism. But now we fast forward back to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. The media, the mainstream media, is going to control what America sees, right? So the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, pulled out of Chicago. They don't want to do it live anymore. They want to do it virtual. Okay, and their reason for that was because of the potential for all of these protests and clashes that could happen, right? So they want to do it virtual. And so the protesters and the people that want to go out there and have their voices heard aren't going to have that opportunity. So where are they going to go? Well, they're going to go to Milwaukee for the RNC. And so the media is going to go there, especially the mainstream media. They're going to go to Milwaukee, and they're going to show all these protests happening, and they're going to blame Trump for it. Okay, never mind the fact that they pulled out for this very same reason, but Trump's not a wuss, and he's like, no, we're going to do this, right? But the mainstream media is going to try to show as much of the bad stuff happening outside as they can. Now, that isn't something that Trump can control. If the DNC was going live, it's not something that Biden can control. This isn't a blame on either person, right? But the media is going to try to paint this in the worst possible way, saying that this is the kind of bad stuff that Trump brings with him. So they're preemptively making him out to be the bad guy. Okay? I just want to point that part out. What I'm wondering, though, is if the RNC isn't pulling a page from... So back in 1968, it was Mayor Daley that was in charge of getting these 24,000 people, right? They were expecting 100 to 200,000 people. They ended up with only 10,000 people. Yes, there were still clashes. But the RNC... there's a potential there for 9,000 National Guard people to be deployed to Milwaukee at some point during all of this, either before, during, or, well, I would imagine before or during. It sounds like that's probably what's going to happen at some point. That's the word on the street. So the RNC is basically already trying to preemptively quelch some of the clashing that could happen. Milwaukee is expecting 50,000 additional people. Now, we don't know if that is just the people for the convention, or whether that includes the potential protesters, different groups that are going to come in as well. We don't know. We don't know what's in that number. But what we do know is that the hospitals are already gearing up for mass casualties. So they're doing some mass casualty trainings. They are also doing some radiation, chemical, biological, situational training. And that's really interesting because the National Guard is also doing what they call CBRNE, which is chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear scenarios. And so they are kind of going hand in hand, the hospitals plus the National Guard. You know, maybe the hospitals do this every time there's a large event. But even the protesting back in 2020 didn't have National Guard showing up when they were burning the streets down. So what are they expecting at the RNC? Just throwing that out there. In addition to that, the ACLU is helping protesters understand their rights. And instead of telling them not to go there to protest, they are actually encouraging every protester to go there. You know, are they looking for another 1968 riot? Is that what they're pushing for? You know, in today's volatile world that we live in, do we really think that's a good idea to push all these different groups together? I don't think so. So they have in this Pierre Marquette Park, this is in Milwaukee, it's about a block and a half from the venue that they're going to have the convention in. The Secret Service director is saying that that's too close. But the Milwaukee mayor is saying, if we push him back any farther, we're going to get sued. So there's a fight going on there on where they're going to put this First Amendment zone, or what they also call the mandated confrontational area. You know, that's, I guess, is getting worked out between the Secret Service director, the mayor of Milwaukee, and Speaker Johnson. I guess they're trying to work out where to have them. This is not something that we can be ignoring. We need to be paying attention to this. And I also want to throw in there the attempts that have already been made on American soil, the Tajikistans and the Jordanians. You know, there's already been attempts made to create some kind of chaos. We can't rule out that something might happen that has nothing to do with anybody protesting. It might have something to do with somebody coming across the border and wanting to create chaos. Do we have another RFK or MLK event? Is that possible? Yes. Remember, prepping is possibilities, what we think could happen. So what I would say to you is, first of all, if you know people in and around the Milwaukee area, share this video to them. They need to be aware of how bad this could actually get and what could possibly be getting pushed to happen. You know, I would start paying attention about the week before the convention. So you can go on YouTube, you can look up Milwaukee. You know, they're always updating what their hospitals, law enforcement, first responders, what they're doing to prepare for the convention. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to other attempts that might be made even before then by people that have come across the southern border. Pay attention to the chatter. But what I really want you to remember in all of this is that the DNC pulled out of Chicago for this very reason. The RNC is staying put. They're going to do it live in Milwaukee. And Trump is going to be made out to be the bad guy. So So share this video, get other people aware. I don't hear any other prepper channels talking about it, but my husband actually brought this up, and I thought it was very well worth you guys listening to. So thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Please hit the like button, because that gets me up in the ratings there a little bit. But stay safe. Especially stay aware. And God bless you all.